Yo, what's up everybody, and welcome to the third episode of the Polaroid Hour. I'm really excited to share this story for you guys today about my trip to Hawaii a couple of years ago and some interesting realizations on this trip. Let's roll that intro. I've realized that I have started using either I've said yo what's up as like a phone greeting before, or I'm using it now because of the podcast. I don't know. It's really funny. I was like talking to people on the phone the other day and I realized that. So yeah. So today's story is about one of my favorite photos that I have on my Polaroid, and it's right here. Man, there we go. It's probably one of my favorite photos I've ever taken. For those of you that can't see it right now because you're listening on the podcast, it is me standing on a nice sandy beach in Hawaii with some beautiful greenery behind me. I am vlogging with my like classic old school vlog setup, manual lens, all the good stuff right there. But yeah, it was a really great photo. I have so many photos from this trip, honestly. There's one of me and Michael. There's one of Michael. There's one of Michael and one of his friends that I met. It was a really great trip. I was there for a week. It was spring break during my junior year, and it was a really good trip, honestly. It rained a lot, but overall it was a good trip. There was a lot of just really crazy moments. Literally my first full day there, I landed and then I ended up getting this shot of Michael just spraying me with mud because he was riding his dirt bike around in the backyard. Later that day, we went and we hiked this trail that went up to this beautiful, beautiful viewpoint. But like the trail was so incredibly muddy and slippery. It had been raining for like days. So much fun. I don't think I've ever been covered in more mud in my entire life than I was after that hike. So much fun though. And then what else did we do? We did a lot of hiking, did a lot of just exploration. I'm just going to keep throwing clips in from the trip because this was one of my favorite trips that I've done, and I got some incredible like drone video and incredible video. So this is, if you're going to watch one episode of the Polaroid Hour on YouTube, I would stop right now. Did you stop? Okay. Stop right now and go and find it on my YouTube channel and go watch it because it's some beautiful scenery. What else did I do? I had some really good coffee. There was this amazing coffee shop. It was like in an old converted van. For those of you that live in Grand Rapids and listen to this podcast, think about like the truck that's in downtown near Uncle Cheetah's soup shop. You know the one I'm talking about. It's like outdoors. It's got like those cool bubble seatings and everything. Yeah, it's like basically that setup, except there wasn't really cool seating. There was just picnic tables, but the coffee was so good. So good. But yeah, one of the craziest hikes we did was this one. It basically goes straight out towards the ocean. Most of it is on this, it's not like a cliff ledge. It's basically like a mountain point that kind of just snakes its way out to the edge. Some of the points of the hike there's like 30 feet, like, between you and the edge. Other points, there's like 1.5 feet. And we like hiked out for the sunset, got some beautiful photos and videos, and then we hiked back and it was dark. And it was muddy, it was dark. All we had was like our phone flashlights because none of us had brought our headlamps because we were not prepared at all. And we like hiked back, and it's just, there are points where you're walking and you're walking through thick, slippery mud, and like to your left, 6 inches to your left is like a pretty solid drop. And then to your right, like 1.5 feet to your right, is a 3,000 foot drop to the bottom. Maybe not 3,000, but like quite a few hundred feet. So yeah, that was a pretty crazy hike. What else we did so much on this trip, honestly. I'm trying to see if there's another. Oh my gosh, we made a music video. I will link it here. Well, first of all, I'll link the actual trip to Hawaii vlog. There's a couple of them right here. And then the music video that Michael and I made right here as well. It was pretty good, honestly. It was like this song that Michael wrote while we were there. It was just like the music. There's no vocals or anything. If you're good at singing and you want to add some vocals because you're so bored, feel free. But then we just like filmed it, and after he had kind of figured out what the song was going to be, and we linked it together, and yeah, it was pretty dope, honestly. It sounds pretty cool. But yeah, overall, this trip was pretty great. It did rain a lot, which was a bit of a bummer, but I feel like I haven't gotten real in a few days with you guys, or by a few days, I mean a few podcasts, so maybe like 2 weeks. But yeah, I don't know. I want, I'm still trying to figure out where this podcast is going and what's going to kind of be the focus. I want there to still be vulnerability, and I'm also really enjoying this Polaroid hour, so I'm going to keep putting that on the podcast. But I also want there to continue to be vulnerability and all those things. And so because of that, I'm going to share a story with you guys from this trip. And it's a little bit harder of one to share because it's not one that I always share that often. But this trip was great in a lot of ways. Lots of good memories. But it was also really hard in some ways. This was spring semester 2018. Let me think, 2018. And it was right about this time that I was realizing, after talking to some friends, that I needed to figure out some things in my life. I had been struggling with some weird bouts of anxiety and weird bouts of depression and just a lot of really weird mood swings and things that I couldn't really figure out. Things where I would go and hang out with my friends, and I'd be driving back to school, and in the span of that 5-minute drive, my mood would just utterly tank. I could be having the best day ever, and literally nothing could just cause it to tank. And it was really hard for me. Like, I'm a very upbeat, I'm a very energetic person, as you all know. So the fact that it would just die, my mood would just die for the day, and there was no explanation, it was really hard for me. And it was this trip particularly that really kind of sunk it in, because I was sitting on the beach of Hawaii on my birthday in Hawaii, and I was having the worst day ever. Granted, it was windy, it was a little bit cooler, and, well, it wasn't raining at least, so that was nice. But, I was sitting on a beach in Hawaii, drinking coffee, and I was, bummed on my birthday. And it was kind of at that point that during this trip, I'd have these really high moments, and then my mood would just utterly tank. And I kind of just realized that I needed to figure something out. I had a lot of talks with friends, people that I trusted, and they all said that I should do therapy and, figure all this out. And for me, I wasn't ever opposed to therapy, but I also wasn't, it's not that I didn't believe in it, I just wasn't the biggest fan. I was like, this isn't for me. Why would I do this? I don't know what would be the point in this. And yeah, it was this trip that really made it stick out to me that I needed to talk to someone. I'd talked to friends for so many years, and friends are great and friends are wonderful. They're wonderful people to have in your life, but sometimes you just need someone that is outside of where you currently are in life to be able to look at what's going on in your life and give you an opinion and give you some thoughts, not with any biases, not with a friend seeing what's going on in your life. And yeah, that was pretty tough because of this trip and a couple other trips I did during the spring semester. It really made it sink in. And during that fall semester, I finally started doing therapy. We'll get into that in another podcast. But that's one of the things. I think we all talk. I feel like people have talked a lot about how, social media, it induces anxiety and it induces all these different things because people only ever share the positives in life, which is true. I'm an Enneagram 7, which means I will always be sharing the really fun stuff, and I might not be sharing the really tough stuff, but that's what this podcast is for, so that I can share the tough stuff for those of you that want to listen. But yeah, I think there's so much to be gained from realizing that the truth behind social media and the fact that everyone's saying, oh, all these things are coming at you and they're affecting you. It's true. It really is true. You could go and look at my Instagram stories from this trip. It's still it's a highlight. You could literally go to my story right now. Like, you could pause the video, go look at my story, and you could see that this trip, if you go look at the Instagram stories and the YouTube videos, looked wonderful. Like, it looks amazing. It looks like I had the best of time. There's a video that's called like flipping, flying, and floating, I think is what I called it. I'll put it here. Where literally it's just drone videos of like Michael doing flips and stuff. It was so much fun. But it was also like one of the roughest days. And you don't see that in the video. You don't see that in the Instagram stories. And yeah, maybe that's something that we all need to be better at. I know not everyone's good about sharing how they're actually doing in life, and a lot of people don't want to share it to social media. I'm willing to share it to, my closest friends and people that I trust the most, but I'm not always willing to put that to everyone on social media, because sometimes they don't need to know the really tough stuff that's going on in life. But I think if, to go back to the theme of this podcast, which is vulnerability and openness, if we were all willing to be a little more vulnerable on our social media, whether that's Instagram or Twitter or Facebook or TikTok, good luck, whatever it is you use, and put, even if it's once a week, that like tough moment, that story where you're not feeling very motivated, you're not feeling very encouraged, you're not feeling very creative, and you put that on your story and let the world know that you're not doing the best today. I think those little stories could go a long way. When I see people that I look up to in podcasting or in YouTube or any kind of sense of that, and they post on their stories or they make a YouTube video about, life is tough and here's what's going on that's tough, I appreciate that, because you don't see that very often. You don't see people opening up. You see the really great parts about YouTubers' lives. David Dobrik, great YouTuber, makes amazing content, but also the man will not post if there's nothing exciting going on, which is fine. He's made an empire around his YouTube channel, but, that's also the way he works, and that's the way a lot of us think, is if nothing as fun is going on, we're not going to post. I have so many pictures from other things that I've done in the past like 2 months, and I've barely posted any of them, and I realized that I haven't posted to Instagram in like 2 weeks, and I've barely posted any stories, and that's a problem, because I love Instagram, and I love posting, and I love sharing and connecting with people, and so that's what I'm going to be doing. I know that there's like 20 of you that regularly listen to this podcast, so thank you to all of you that regularly listen. I really appreciate you. But whether you're a photographer, a videographer, a creative type, a student, like someone that's out of work, working, I don't care who you are, if there's a social media that you use, I would like to offer you a challenge. There's lots of challenges going around right now, which are great. Peter McKinnon has one that's like a photo project every week, which I'm stoked for. I'm going to participate this week. So if you are, hit me up. Let me know that you're going to participate in his photo challenge as well. Maybe we can bounce some ideas off of each other. But there is so much to say about sharing in times like this, that we are struggling, that we are having a rougher time. And that's my challenge to you guys today. Whether you're listening to this podcast, whether you're watching it on YouTube, hopefully you're watching it on YouTube, because it's there's some great visuals at the beginning. So even if you're still listening on the podcast, hit up my YouTube, www.youtube.com/JoshMarsh2. Shameless plug. Go watch the visuals, because they are fantastic. Even if you don't regularly post to Instagram or anything like that, take the time to just be true and honest with yourself. And maybe that means texting someone, maybe that means calling someone, maybe that does mean posting to Instagram or some kind of social media and giving a real life update to how you're doing. But if you don't feel comfortable sharing, then like tell someone, talk to someone, be a confidant for someone. We had a great Zoom call yesterday with some of the members from the filmmaking course. Shout out to any of you guys that are listening right now. And it was great. It was the motivation that I needed to keep doing what I love to do. And sometimes that's all you need. You just need that one person, 2 people, 3 people that will motivate you to do what you love. And I know that's hard for a lot of us right now. We're stuck at home. We can't go anywhere. I mean, I literally leave the house to go run or to go get some coffee today, because Madcap Coffee is coming today. I'm sorry, that was weird. I promise, guys, there will be a coffee podcast. It's coming. I'm just trying to figure out what I'm going to record and how not to make it 2 hours long, because no one's going to listen to that, let's be honest. But yeah, take a moment, sit down, reflect on how everything's been going, because, yeah, I'm sure that some parts have been really rough, and that's fine. And be willing to share that. Maybe you make an Instagram story or a post or something and you open up. Maybe it's just, sending a message to some of your closest friends and letting them know how you're doing and asking how they're doing. There's so much that we don't know right now. And I think that this trip really was, I'm holding the picture upside down. I'm sorry. This trip was one of the greatest ways to really awaken me to what was going on. I didn't really accept the fact that I was struggling with like happiness and joy until this trip, because I was sitting in Hawaii and I was like, I should be happy right now. Like, I should be excited about what's going on. I should feel joy, and I don't. And that was my wake up call. And you're not going to feel joy through every part in life, no matter what's going on, whether it's a virus, whether it's breakups, whether it's school, whether it's work. You're not always going to feel happy. But it's about celebrating those happy moments, those good moments, finding those moments during the day and being so excited about them. And yeah, I know it's going to be hard. We're all in this together. I will not start singing High School Musical. Ha! But yeah, we're all in this together, guys. I really don't have anything else to say. I want to thank you all for listening. Thank you for joining in for a little more somber Polaroid hour. I mean, the beginning was good and enjoyable, but, I think we needed a real talk and some vulnerability again on this podcast, because I've strayed away from a little bit of vulnerability recently, and I don't want to. But yeah, thank you all so much for listening. I really appreciate all of you. Shoot me a DM if you want. If you've listened this far, I think we're just going to make this fun word thing just a new part of the show. So if you've listened this far, just shoot me Galaxy. Just text me the word Galaxy or DM me or whatever. If you want to continue the conversation on Instagram, you know where to find me. And yeah, thank you all so much for listening. I appreciate all of your support. I'll catch you in the next podcast, or I'll see you in the next YouTube video. Bye.